Okay, so everybody should be open to their Wonder Part 4 vocab. Today is our last day of reading Part 4. We have one word. So Zadie, you will have one word to do tonight. So go ahead and underneath number 5, draw your squiggly line. Yes?
Since I have this much room, do you just want me to go to the next page?
Yeah. No, just fit it. And just don't worry about labeling it. Because then you'd only have one word on the next page. So yeah, just fit it. Just add number 6. Don't worry about the new heading. So, title it. So Zadie, don't worry about this part. But if you can, maybe fit the date and just chapters, like just write it small. The date and chapters 17 through 20. So Wonder, Part 4, chapters 17 through 20. Yes, 17 through 20. And then, of course, today, then underline that because it's a title. And then write today's date, November 11th, 2020. So Wonder, Part 4, chapters 17 through 20. And then today's date, November 11th, 2020. And we're going to start with number 6. Remember, 6 goes on the left side of the pink line. And our word is hypocrite. 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 Yes, Zadie.
What I did is, since I wrote the chapters right here, I just put Wonder Part 4.
Okay. Hypocrite. 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 Yes. Hypocrite. Hypocrite. Remember, short letters are short, tall letters are tall. Letters with the tail take up a short part of the top line and go underneath the bottom line. A hypocrite is a noun. That means a person, place, thing, or idea. In this case, it is a person. A hypocrite is a person. You may have heard this before. A hypocrite is a person who pretends to be different So a person who pretends to be different than who he or she actually is. So a hypocrite is a noun, it's a person, and it is a person who pretends to be different than who he or she actually is. Yes?
Will you spell pretends?
Pretends is Pretends. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. A person who pretends to be different than who he or she actually is. A synonym, so a word that means the same thing, is a phony. If you've ever heard somebody call someone a phony, that means they're fake. They act like somebody different than he or she actually is. A person who is fake, we might say, is a hypocrite. Yes, Zadie.
Since I don't have room to write phony, do you just want me to go over the pink line?
Yeah. Yes.
So they're phony if their disguise is so
No, this is like they act different. Not they dress, well, maybe they dress differently, not like in a disguise, but they just act like a person who acts like they're really, really nice to your face, but then talks badly about you behind your back would be a hypocrite. They're acting in a different way than who they actually are or what they actually believe. Or a person who tells you don't talk bad about other people, but then you hear them talking bad about other people all the time. They're telling you something different than what they actually do or who they actually are. That is a hypocrite or a phony. A phony is a synonym, remember, not the vocab word. Yes?
Like Julian, the first time Julian in August, he was being nice to.
It's really, was Julian even being nice to August to his face?
No, to his mom.
But who was exactly? So Julian was acting like he was this great, kind, nice person to August's mom and to Mr. Tushman and probably to all the teachers, and that's why he got picked for this job. But he's a hypocrite, because is that actually how he is and how he acts when grown-ups aren't watching? No. So Julian could be described as a hypocrite. I think at one point they even called him a phony. Zari.
Most of us who watch Zombies 2 actually heard that in the song.
Exactly, yes. You've probably heard this word a lot. It's a pretty common, we hear it kind of often. We read it, we hear it on TV shows, hear it in songs. So now you know what it means. Yes, Cullen.
He's probably a kid that acts nice in front of parents and mean in front of kids.
Exactly, and that is a hypocrite because he is acting differently than who he actually is. So not a disguise, not a person in disguise. That's different. You could say they're a phony, but they're not a hypocrite because a hypocrite is more the actions. But phony is a word that means a similar thing. That's why it's a synonym. So a hypocrite more describes their actions or describes the type of person they are based on their actions rather than like what they look like. Phony could be either what they look like or how they act. Okay, here's the word in context, so make sure that you're listening for this. Okay, I'm a total hypocrite, I know. That very first day of school, I remember seeing August in the cafeteria. Everyone was looking at him, talking about him. So, as we read, you're going to figure out, okay, who's talking? Who are they talking to? Why are they saying this? What do they mean? Okay, so that's our only word. Okay, so everybody is sitting up straight in their listening position, ready to follow along. We're on page 175. The only things on your desk should be your book and your bookmark if you have one. Make sure your finger or your card is ready to follow along. Chapter 17. Why I didn't sit with August the first day of school. Okay, I'm a total hypocrite, I know. That very first day of school, I remember seeing August in the cafeteria. Everybody was looking at him, talking about him. Back then, no one was used to his face or even knew that he was coming to Beecher. So it was a total shocker for a lot of people to see him there on the first day of school. Most kids were even afraid to get near him. So when I saw him going into the cafeteria ahead of me, I knew he'd have no one to sit with. But I just couldn't bring myself to sit with him. I'd been hanging out with him all morning long because we had so many classes together, and I guess I was just kind of wanting a little normal time to chill with other kids. So when I saw him move to a table on the other side of the lunch counter, I purposely found a table as far away from there as I could find. I sat down with Isaiah and Luca, even though I'd never met them before, and we talked about baseball the whole time, and I played basketball with them at recess. They became my lunch table from then on. I heard Summer had sat down with August, which surprised me because I knew for a fact she wasn't one of the kids that Tushman had talked to about being friends with Augie. So I knew she was doing it just to be nice. And that was pretty brave, I thought. So now here I was sitting with Summer and August, and they were being totally nice to me as always. I filled them in about everything Charlotte had told me, except for the whole big part about my having snapped under the pressure of being Augie's friend, or the part about Julian's mom saying that Augie had special needs, or the part about the school board. I guess all I really told them about was how Julian had had a holiday party and managed to turn the whole grade against me. It just feels so weird, I said, to not have people talking to you, pretending you don't even exist. Augie started smiling. "You think?" he said sarcastically. "Welcome to my world." Make sure your finger or your card is following along. Chapter 18, Sides. "So here are the official sides," said Summer at lunch the next day. She pulled out a folded piece of loose leaf paper and opened it. It had 3 columns of names. Jack's side: Jack, August, Reed, Max G, Max W. Julian's side: Miles, Henry, Amos, Simon, Tristan, Pablo, Nino, Isaiah, Luca, Jake, Toland, Roman, Ben, Emmanuel, Zeke, Tommaso. And neutrals: Malik, Remo, Jose, Leaf, Ram, Ivan, Russell. "Where did you get this?" said Augie, looking over my shoulder as I read the list. "Charlotte made it," Summer answered quickly. "She gave it to me last period. She said she thought you should know who is on your side, Jack." "Yeah, not so many people, that's for sure," I said. "Reed is," she said, "and the 2 Maxes." "Great, the nerds are on my side." "Don't be mean," said Summer. "I think Charlotte likes you, by the way." "Yeah, I know." "Are you gonna ask her out?" "Are you kidding? I can't, now that everybody's acting like I have the plague." The second I said it, I realized I shouldn't have said it. There was this awkward moment of silence. I looked at Augie. "It's okay," he said. "I knew about that." "Sorry, dude," I said. "I didn't know they called it the plague, though," he said. "I figured it was more like the cheese touch or something." "Oh, yeah, like in Diary of a Wimpy Kid," I nodded. "The plague actually sounds cooler," he joked, "like someone could catch the Black Death of ugliness." As he said this, he made air quotes. "I think it's awful," said Summer, but Augie shrugged while taking a sip from his juice box. "Anyway, I'm not asking Charlotte out," I said. "My mom thinks we're all too young to be dating anyway," she answered. "What if Reed asked you out?" I said. "Would you go?" I could tell she was surprised. "No," she said. "I'm just asking," I laughed. She shook her head and smiled. "Why? What do you know?" "Nothing, I'm just asking," I said. "I actually agree with my mom," she said. "I do think we're too young to be dating. I mean, I just don't see what the rush is." "Yeah, I agree," said August, "which is kind of a shame, you know, with all those babes who keep throwing themselves at me and stuff." He said this in such a funny way that the milk I was drinking came out of my nose when I laughed, which made us all totally crack up. Make sure you're following along with your finger or your card. Chapter 19, August's House. It was already the middle of January, and we still hadn't even chosen what science fair project we were going to work on. I guess I kept putting it off because I just don't want to do it. Finally, August was like, "Dude, we have to do this." So we went to his house after school. I was really nervous because I didn't know if August had ever told his parents about what we now called the Halloween incident. Turns out the dad wasn't even home and the mom was out running errands. I'm pretty sure from the 2 seconds I'd spent talking to her that Augie had never mentioned a thing about it. She was super cool and friendly toward me. When I first walked into Augie's room, I was like, "Whoa, Augie, you have got a serious Star Wars addiction." He had ledges full of Star Wars miniatures and a huge The Empire Strikes Back poster on his wall. "I know, right?" he laughed. I sat down on a rolling chair next to his desk, and I plopped down on a beanbag chair in the corner. That's when his dog waddled into the room right up to me. He was on your holiday card, I said, letting the dog sniff my hand. She, he corrected me. Daisy, you can pet her. She doesn't bite. When I started petting her, she basically just rolled over onto her back. She wants you to rub her tummy, said August. Okay, this is the cutest dog I've ever seen, I said, rubbing her stomach. I know, right? She's the best dog in the world. Aren't you, girly? As soon as she heard Augie's voice say that, the dog started wagging her tail and went over to him. Who's my little girly? Who's my little girly? Augie was saying as she licked him all over the face. I wish I had a dog, I said. My parents think our apartment's too small. I started looking around at the stuff in his room while he turned on the computer. Hey, you've got an Xbox 360? Can we play? Dude, we're here to work on the science fair project. Do you have Halo? Of course I have Halo. Please, can we play? He had logged on to the Beecher website and was now scrolling down Miss Rubin's teacher page through the list of science fair projects. Can you see from there? He said. I sighed and went to sit on a little stool that was right next to him. Cool iMac, I said. What kind of computer do you have? Dude, I don't even have my own room, much less my own computer. My parents have this ancient Dell that's practically dead. Okay, how about this one? He said, turning the screen in my direction so I would look. I made a quick scan of the screen and my eyes literally started blurring. Making a sun clock, he said. That sounds kind of cool. I leaned back. Can't we just make a volcano? Everyone makes volcanoes. Duh, because it's easy, I said, petting Daisy again. What about how to make crystal spikes out of Epsom salt? Sounds boring, I answered. So why'd you call her Daisy? He didn't look up from the screen. My sister named her. I wanted to call her Darth. Actually, technically speaking, her full name is Darth Daisy, but we never really called her that. Darth Daisy, that's funny. Hi, Darth Daisy, I said to the dog, who rolled onto her back again for me to rub her tummy. Okay, this one is the one, said August, pointing to a picture on the screen of a bunch of potatoes with wires poking out of them. How to build an organic battery made of potatoes. Now that's cool. It says here you could power a lamp with it. We could call it the Spud lamp or something. What do you think? Dude, that sounds way too hard. You know I suck at science. Shut up, you do not. Yeah, I do. I got a 54 on my last test. I suck at science. No, you don't. And that was only because we were still fighting and I wasn't helping you. I can help you now. This is a good project, Jack. We've got to do it. Fine, whatever, I shrugged. Just then, there was a knock on the door. A teenage girl with long, dark, wavy hair poked her head inside the door. She wasn't expecting to see me. Oh, hey, she said to both of us. Hey, Via, said August, looking back at the computer screen. Via, this is Jack. Jack, that's Via. Hey, I said, nodding hello. Hey, she said, looking at me carefully. I knew the second Augie said my name that he had told her about the stuff I had said about him. I could tell from the way she looked at me. In fact, the way she looked at me made me think she remembered me from that day at Carvel on Amesfort Avenue all those years ago. Augie, I have a friend I want you to meet, okay? She said. He's coming over in a few minutes. Is he your new boyfriend? August teased. Via kicked the bottom of his chair. Just be nice, she said, and left the room. Dude, your sister's hot, I said. I know. She hates me, right? You told her about the Halloween incident? Yeah. Yeah, she hates me, or yeah, you told her about Halloween. Both. Chapter 20, The Boyfriend. Make sure you're following along with your finger or your card. 2 minutes later, the sister came back with this guy named Justin. Seemed like a cool enough dude. Longish hair, little round glasses. He was carrying a big, long, shiny silver case that ended in a sharp point on each end. Justin, this is my little brother August, said Via. And that's Jack. Hey guys, said Justin, shaking our hands. He seemed a little nervous. I guess maybe it was because he was meeting August for the first time. Sometimes I forget what a shock it is the first time you meet him. Cool room. Are you Via's boyfriend? Augie asked mischievously, and his sister pulled his cap down over his face. What's in your case? I said. A machine gun? Ha! Answered the boyfriend. That's funny. No, it's a fiddle. Justin's a fiddler, said Via. He's in a Zydeco band. What the heck is a Zydeco band? Said Augie, looking at me. It's a type of music, said Justin. Like Creole music. What's Creole? I said. You should tell people that's a machine gun, said Augie. Nobody would ever mess with you. Ha, I guess you're right, Justin said, nodding and tucking his hair behind his ears. Creole's the kind of music they play in Louisiana, he said to me. Are you from Louisiana? I asked. No, he answered, pushing up his glasses. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't know why this made me want to laugh. Come on, Justin, said Via, pulling him by the hand. Let's go hang out in my room. Okay, see you later. See you guys later. Bye, he said. Bye. Bye. As soon as they left the room, Augie looked at me smiling. I'm from Brooklyn, I said, and we both started laughing hysterically. Who heard hypocrite? Carla, where did you hear it? Who was talking?
Jack was talking about when he was a total hypocrite when he first sat down with August at first day of school.
Well, was it when he first sat down with August, or was it something else, something different? It was on the first day of school, and that was why, but was it because he sat down with August? Why did he say that? Aaron? Because he didn't sit down with August. So why did that make him a hypocrite? He didn't sit down with August on the first day of school, and he was saying he was a hypocrite because of that. Why did not sitting with August that first day of school make him feel like a hypocrite? Zari?
Because he knew that no one was sitting next to him, but since he has been sitting next to him in all the classes, he just kind of wanted some time to be alone with all his actual friends.
Well, that is what was going on. That was the situation, but that's not why he was a hypocrite. That's just the situation. Why did the fact that he did not sit with him and wanted to go sit with his other normal friends make him a hypocrite? Victoria?
Because they probably became friends the first time they met each other. Not like really, like in school.
Uh-huh.
When Jack was Charlotte and Julian were trying him around, they probably became a little.
Make sure you're listening.
And
Put the books
Jack-
down, please.
And Jack knew that no one was really gonna sit with him, so he was like, "Man, I'm a hypocrite." And also, he when August sat down at a table, I think a table closer to him, he moved as far away as possible.
Okay. So what Victoria is saying is that he was acting like a friend from that very first day that he led August around the school. Was he acting like a friend when he chose not to sit with him? So he was acting differently than who he actually was. He was acting like August's friend all day, but then when it came to lunch, did he act like a friend anymore? Did he necessarily even consider August as a friend in that moment if he didn't choose to sit with him? No, but he was acting like August's friend. Okay. I know there was a lot. Number 1, why does Jack call himself a hypocrite? So basically you're saying, what is the situation? Why does he think he's a hypocrite? Does he change his behavior, or does he keep being a hypocrite? Those are all things you can ask yourself and answer to get a good, well thought out answer, well written answer. Number 2, describe August's reaction when Jack accidentally mentions the plague. So number 2 is describe August's reaction when Jack accidentally mentions the plague. So Jack accidentally mentions the plague. He doesn't mean to. How does August react? What does he do? What does he say after Jack mentions that? Number 3, why does Jack go over to August's house? So he goes over to August's house. Why? To get a good, well thought out answer, you can ask yourself, okay, what did they do there? Did they do what they came to do? What happened while they were there? Those are all things you can ask yourself and answer to come up with a good, well-written, well-thought-out answer. Number 4, what does August tell Jack about his sister? So August tells Jack something about Via. What is that? How does Jack react? How does Jack already know that this had happened? Number 5, describe Justin. What do you, as the reader, know about him so far? When it says describe Justin, that means what does he look like? How does he act? And then what do you know about him? You don't know a lot about him yet, but what do you know about him so far? Any questions about the questions? Okay, when I say go, you will have 15 minutes to write good, well thought out answers to these questions. Pick any question to do first. Make sure to write the number, the whole question correctly, otherwise I'm going to be taking off half grammar points even in the question. And if I take off a grammar point in the question, it's going to be minus a whole point because you didn't even have to think about it. You just had to copy it. So write the question correctly. Skip one line. Write your full, complete, 2 or more complete sentence, good grammar, text evidence when needed, answer. Remember, don't rely on text evidence for your whole answer because I know what the book says. This is like the 5th or 6th time I've read it. I don't need you to tell me what the book says. I need you to tell me that you know what the book says and what you think about it. And then skip one line, write the next question, skip one line, write the next answer, and then so on if you have time. Don't stop at 2 questions if you know time's not up yet. Keep going. Remember when that 2-minute alarm goes off, if you're in the middle of writing a question, when that 2-minute alarm goes off, if you're in the middle of writing a question, stop writing the question, start writing the answer. If you finished a question right before the 2-minute alarm went off, write the number, start the new answer for another question. If you finish your question right, like within 30 seconds of that alarm going off, the second alarm or the 2 minutes starting, you can go turn it in. But if you finished an answer right before the 2-minute alarm went off, use that 2 minutes to just answer a question. Don't write the question. If that alarm goes off and the 2 minutes starts and you are in the middle of writing a question, stop writing the question, skip one line, start writing the answer. Does everybody understand what I mean by that? That means you can take that last 2 minutes to write. But once that 2 minutes is up, we tried it yesterday where you got to finish the sentence and that did not work. So that means once that 2 minutes is up, you close it. Even if you're in the middle of writing a word, you close it. Because I tried letting you finish your sentence yesterday and you took advantage and it took like another 2 minutes for us to get cleaned up. So we can't do that. Do you see why I have to stop? I can't let you do that now. Maybe we'll try again later. Okay, when I say go, you have 15 minutes. If you did not have a chance, I didn't say go yet, so nobody should have their journal open. If you did not get a chance, if you did not use your time wisely and you didn't get a chance to write Wonder Part 4, Chapters 17 through 20 and today's date, you need to do that first. That is very important when I am grading, and I will take off points. I will take off 5 whole points for that. Go. You will have your full 15 minutes and then 2 extra minutes today.